honestly thousands of people at the airport, and the police and the army had to help us get from the terminal into the cars into the hotel. When we got to the hotel, there was more people at the hotel. We couldn't leave the hotel room. So that was the beginning of, dare I say, pop superstardom. We were like, wow, this is.
Hello guys, it's
Hey,
nice to
hello,
meet
how
you
are you, buddy?
guys. This moment is surreal for me. My first question is let's talk about your connection with Indonesia because you guys quite often coming here in Indonesia. So why is Indonesia so special to you guys?
I don't think there's one reason. I think there's many reasons. You know, when we were young teenagers and the band started, our record label sent us to Southeast Asia, and we visited lots of countries. And that was to promote the first album. And the
Mm,
first song was Swear It Again. And If I Let You Go was the second one. But before I think we even released If I Let You Go, we were in Malaysia, Indonesia, lots of countries surrounding, Philippines. But there was just something about Indonesia when we landed at the airport. It was like, bless you, bless you.
that's
It was
you.
like we had already been around for years. There was like, honestly, thousands of people at the airport, and the police and the army had to help us get from the terminal into the cars into the hotel. When we got to the hotel, there was more people at the hotel. We couldn't leave the hotel room. So that was the beginning of, dare I say, pop superstardom. We were like, wow, this is, and it only got bigger. The more songs we released, Flying Without Wings, My Love, World of Our Own, When You're Looking Like That, Uptown Girl, it just got bigger and bigger. So every time we went back, the concerts went from being, you know, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, and now we're at the stage of our career where we're going to play Galora at Bungkarno Stadium
Yeah,
on
it is.
January 23rd. And when we were in Indonesia, like, we know Coldplay have played there, we know Ed Sheeran has played there. And this is a very special moment for Westlife because our relationship with Indonesia is continuing to grow. And we're also very ambitious people. So we are very excited about capturing 25 years of Westlife in one night in Indonesia. If a Westlife fan, if you're a Westlife fan in Indonesia, you will not want to miss this show. I think that's the
Yes.
best way to do it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Look at his face.
No, you guys, you guys, I'm shocked. I'm
Joking, man.
little
We're already having
shocked.
fun.
And yeah. If we're talking about
Yeah,
your upcoming form tour in Indonesia, it's pretty massive. It happened in 2027. Too soon for us to ask you about the preparation of it.
Keynote knows all about the prep.
It's a little soon, but we're working on it a lot. We definitely want this show to be the biggest and best show that we have ever done in Indonesia. It will be the biggest and best show we've ever done in Indonesia for sure.
Is there going to be drones?
There will be drones. There will
Will
be
there be
drones
fireworks?
filming us.
Wow.
Fireworks, I'm not sure if we have a license for fireworks
I think
just
we will.
yet,
I
but
think
we are
we have.
working on a license for fireworks.
Gonna blow
We make it legal for you guys.
Okay, good man, good man.
Yeah, we want fireworks.
We have said to our promoters that this has to be a spectacle. It has to be as
Pinnacle.
big as we can make this show. So that is what it's all about for us. It's to make sure that it is the best night of every Westlife fan's
Wow.
life. That's what we want to happen. So all the best songs, the best production, the best moments, a lot of emotional moments, a lot of happy moments. We want everybody to feel like, that all of their dreams have come true.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it's the only stadium you've been going to this tour in Asia, right?
Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, which genuinely makes it special because all of our fans are adults now, but they do bring along their children and their parents if they're still alive. Because like Indonesia or like Ireland, Indonesia is quite family orientated, so it's a real family atmosphere, a real special event. It's not a rock concert; it's pop where you get to see brilliant creatives on the screens. Great singing, great pop songs, and reliving memories.
Yeah, and nostalgia too, right?
Absolutely.
You got
And
it.
by the way, congratulations about for your new album, The Ultimate Collection.
Here's one we made earlier, Shane.
Can't believe it's been 25 years. What
It's
that album means to you guys?
honestly, we're very, very proud of this album. We're very, very proud of, I suppose, this time in our career. 25 years is a long time,
Mm,
but we've had an amazing time from day one right up to now. And I think now it's more special than ever that our fans are still with us more than ever. You know, we're playing our biggest show, obviously, in
yeah,
Jakarta in January. So that says a lot to us, you know, that our fans, the love and support we've had for the last 25 years in Indonesia has been incredible. And we're very, very thankful. We're very grateful, and we feel very special. We feel very honored to be Westlife, you know, and to be able to put so many
yeah.
smiles on people's faces. And we're going to relive them memories on the 23rd of January. It's going to be a special night, a big celebration of all these songs.
Look at all those old photographs.
Look at
Look
these
those
songs.
songs.
Wow.
What's your favorite song there?
What is your sorry, what?
No, what is your favorite song? Can you see any of those?
Uptown Girl is my favorite, yeah,
Yeah,
because
good
I
one.
grew up with it. Which song on the album that has the longest or most challenging process to make?
For
What was the
recording.
most challenging?
Yeah.
Good question. We're just reading the back of it to see. Starlight is very high, a very
Really?
high song. Um,
I think Against All Odds with Mariah Carey, obviously, it wasn't challenging, but it was just a very special moment for us because
because she was producing, looking at us.
we were singing in the booth and Mariah Carey was sitting outside the glass looking at us. So it was
With
very
Mariah.
nerve-wracking.
Intimidating.
It was very intimidating when you look out through the screen and there's Mariah Carey looking at you going, okay, Shane, just give me one more go. And you're like, ah, you know, so that was challenging, but it was so enjoyable. And obviously we got to sing with Mariah Carey. So that's pretty special too.
When you're looking like that.
Yeah, and one of
You like
your
this
new
song?
song is Carried. I can still hear the classic Westlife sound, but I cannot miss Ed Sheeran touch of it on it. And can you tell us about the process behind the song?
The Chariot?
Yeah.
Chariot,
You
yeah.
can hear the Westlife sound.
Oh,
He
yeah.
also hears that cheer.
Of course, and I think Ed Sheeran, obviously, you know, he got involved in Westlife back in 2018 when he wrote "Hello, My Love" and "Better Man," the two songs that we released off that album. And Ed Sheeran was always a big fan, so he wanted to write more Westlife songs. Obviously, with Steve Mack, our long-term collaborator, who used to write, obviously, I wrote "Flying Without Wings," "Swear It Again," "World of Our Own," etc. And I think them two coming together was really, really good timing because we were coming back as a reunion for Westlife in 2019. And Chariot, I think, is the next phase of that. You know, it's a song that's upbeat. It's a great song to sing. It's a lot of fun. The story of the story of the song, though, is actually what you would like your funeral to be like. You know, you want
Yeah.
people celebrating your life,
Rather than being sad.
but also we want our fans to celebrate Westlife, to celebrate who we are as people and
Yeah.
what we've achieved together. Because without the fans, there would be no Westlife. So it's a great song. We're definitely going to do it on the tour as well. And yeah, can't wait.
Can you share a personal moment when you felt like, yes, we finally made it?
Oh, that's a tough question. You know, I think going back to the early days of Westlife, when we were having a lot of success around the world and we were having like number one singles in the UK, I think just after our first single, Swear It Again, even though we had gone to number one in the UK, we still felt like a very new band, and that yes, we knew we had a big audience, but we were not sure how big that audience was. And then we flew to Indonesia and we landed in the airport. And I know Nicky said this earlier on, but you know, just to see how many thousands of fans were at the airport to greet us, it made us feel like, wow, we have really made it. And then we did a concert on the same trip. It was supposed to be a showcase, which we thought was just perform for the music industry of Indonesia, like, you know, the people like yourself who would work for magazines or TV shows. And there was like 10,000 people in there. We couldn't believe it. And, you know, they were running on the stage and jumping on us and squeeze, you know, the security had to drag people off the stage. There was one time where the cameraman put his hand out to shake our hands when we were doing a TV show. So all of those moments, you know, when we were in Indonesia for the very first time were real kind of like pinch yourself moments. Is this real? Is this really happening to us? But it really did happen. And here we are 25 years later, ready to do it all again in Indonesia.
Woohoo, can't wait. And my last question is fun question. If you write a song about Indonesia, what would it be about?
I love.
A new song or one of
Just
A new
Right.
song, a whole new song. It's
Well,
what
I
it's
think
about and what it's
Shane
about.
would definitely say it would have to be called Nasi Goreng. So I don't know where we go with that.
Cigarette
In the morning.
is the most beautiful food in Indonesia.
I love
Uh,
that.
Thank you so much, guys. That was
Thank you
my
so
last
much.
question.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
We'll see you
Bye.
on January 23rd at the big stadium
Yes.
show.
I'll
For
see
sure.
ya when I get
Bye.
me glasses.
Bye. Thank you.